Okay, cool. It works. All right. You can see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, we will get started. I'm going to handle this just like we did in the room. That way it's fairness for all candidates. So,
All right.
pardon me through all this boilerplate stuff, but I don't think you've been through an elections before, so this might be good for you to hear. Welcome everyone to the 2025 winter candidate election for the 501c3 nonprofit MNFurs here in the state of Minnesota. This is the Q&A session for our candidates. I thank everyone for coming, but that everyone right now is just WhiteFang as we're doing the absentee session. This will be a session that's about 2 hours long, but not in this case since it's one-on-one. There will be a 15-minute break, which I honestly don't think we'll need. The session will end around 4:30 p.m. And by that, I mean probably here in 6:45 at the latest. There are about 15 questions. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes per question per candidate to answer. At the 2-minute mark, they will be stopped for the fairness of all candidates for the duration of time allotted to answer. You do not need to use the full 2 minutes, and there's no rush on this either. Just think about how you would answer it. There's no wrong answers. And so, I mean, if your answer is 30 seconds, that's fine too. It doesn't need to be 2 minutes.
Okay.
And it's too late for last minute questions. We can ignore that. This event is being recorded. You already know that. Your thing will be put on YouTube alongside everybody else's. The candidates this year is AlphaWhiteFang, Aubrey, Gita, Kirsten, Talon. All of the bios are available online. Your bio is still, we're figuring that out tonight. Volunteer hours are due by December 17th by midnight, and voting will start December 19th. Voting will be conducted online with anyone that has 20 hours or more are eligible to vote. The voting this year will be done on the volunteer portal, volunteer.MNFurs.org. It's different from last year's. Nobody needs to request voting codes. You'll just log in and you'll see it on the dashboard to cast your vote. White Fang, even though you are a candidate, you can still vote. You can still vote for yourself. You can vote for others. It's actually expected that you would vote for yourself, so be sure you vote as well. Voting closes at midnight on the 9th of January, and it will be announced within 48 hours. Though since it's electronic, I'm pretty sure it will be announced pretty much immediately next day. Any questions?
No.
Okay, cool. You're welcome to set your own timer. I'm setting a timer here for 2 minutes. If I cut you off when the 2 minutes hit, it's nothing personal. It's just how we do it. So
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Okay, cool. How it's going to work is shortly after I ask you the question, I will start the timer when you start talking, or if you're taking a moment to kind of assess the question, I will start it shortly after I start the question. So here
Okay.
we go. What do you think is the most important responsibility of the board of directors in a volunteer-run nonprofit like Minnesota First?
That would be to decide the year-long contracts, the budget, and to make sure that the organization is aligned with our mission statement.
Great. Working on the board sometimes means working with individuals that you may not personally get along with. What are some ways that you would handle this?
Um, Pretty much put aside any differences that we have to make sure that we are doing our responsibility under the law, since this is a legal obligation as well. Um, any differences that we have would probably be settled by someone who would, I guess, be over us in a sense. So either, if we have an issue going on, like the president can help us decide on certain things, or someone else on the board can also help, I guess, mediate any issues that we would have.
What is your understanding of your fiduciary responsibilities if elected to the board?
So I understand that we are obligated to make sure that the organization sticks to its mission statement. We are legal representatives of the organization, and as such, we are expected to, um, for example, like go to all the board meetings, or at least attempt in the most capable way that we can, um, and make sure that we have our responsibilities taken care of that we are assigned, putting the organization's interest ahead of our own, for like basically what I'm trying to say is we can't be favoring any certain outcome more than anything else without hearing all facts or evidence or having connections to that.
Great. What do you words? What do you believe is the difference between the role of a board member and the role of a staff or department lead?
So board members are the ones who get to decide um, anything that has to do with long-term effects of the organization and not really have a hands-on approach to directly leading a department or having really taking over the department is in a sense. They just pretty much stick on the sidelines and make sure that we're following our nonprofit rules or make sure we're being fair and yeah, that's about it. Oh, lost your audio there.
I left myself muted. Sorry. What does success for Minnesota Furs look like for you at the end of your board term, and how do you measure success?
One thing would be, I guess, the financials, I guess, would be one to make sure our financials are aligned and that we're not um losing out money on certain things, that we can continue to host events or have funding for events that we put on. Or another thing would be like attendance on these events, like our numbers are going up, um, and that there's no significant drop in numbers for any of these events.
This is a question submitted by the community. Per the 2025 board retreat, and as posted in the Discord every 3 days, there is a projected budget deficit of $6,950 for the 2025-2026 financial year. How do you plan to balance the budget?
So this would require me looking at some of the financial documents for the org and seeing what is being spent on each individual item list. So certain things would be looked at. So like the storage would be looked at for one, see how much we're spending on storage, see if there's any way to reduce that number. I know that was a talk in the plans. Basically anything else that sticks out. So if we're spending like an insane amount on a certain item that we could be doing cheaper or getting cheaper, certain things would like that would be looked at more.
What does belonging mean to you in the context of Minnesota Furs, and how can the board help foster it?
So it's that sense of community where you feel like you belong here. Um, I know when I first came to a MNFurs event, it was unlike any other place that I've been. Um, Definitely felt like I should be here, that I was welcome here, and that's pretty much like one of the things that I think would be um the best to explain that. And just continue to be welcoming, continuing to be open to anyone that wants to join the community.
Halfway point, don't need a break, right?
No, I'm good.
As people who potentially hold multiple roles, how do you ensure that each of those roles is adequately fulfilled? How do you plan to manage your workload?
So I usually break everything down by importance. Certain things that, require immediate attention versus certain things that can be left alone for a period of time before they need to be worked on. Like having deadlines on certain things would probably make them a little more important, but things that are due whenever you need to do would be a little less on the back burner. Um, Basically making sure a list that I have to make sure everything's done, but also done in a certain order that important things get done really fast.
If elected to the board of directors, what actions do you feel need to be taken in order to bring the organization to the next level?
I would see how we can improve relations with like the cities, venues to see like we can get more space, just try to see if we can attract more attendees to our events to make sure that we have more um, activities or more things that attendees can do that draws in more attendance, I guess. But also to strengthen those relations to, have more people come out, not be afraid to come out and get more people involved as well.
What hobbies do you have beside being a furry?
I work on cars a lot. My truck is not happy right now, but it will be later once I work on it. Besides that, I also work on computers. In my spare time, I've been making fursuits and plush now. And I'm trying to do a side thing with the inflatable community as well. That's a little bit of a new one. But pretty much all of those I work on quite daily. So that's one thing.
This one is a scenario from the community. An organization is entirely words. An organization that is entirely unrelated to the Minnesota Furs, but fills the same market, announces a new furry convention in Duluth, Minnesota. How do you react?
I would reach out and basically work together. We're part of the same community. We're the furry community, and I believe that we should work together to strengthen ourselves and each other. And if another event's going on, it's more events for the community that we can go out to. And I believe that we should definitely work together for something like that.
What inspired you to run for a position on the Minnesota Furs board of director?
Just being the next level up of helping, I guess. Pretty much gonna continue to help as much as I can, and this is just one way that I can do that.
What scares you the most about being on the board?
Missing the meetings. I don't want to do that.
What's a Minnesota Furs event, tradition, or moment that really made you feel like this is my community?
The first furry migration that I went to, it definitely spoke volumes when I first went. It was not my first con, and it certainly wasn't my last. But it was the first con that I actually volunteered with because it just made me feel that I should help this out. Big thanks to Hawk for that too. That's what got me started in volunteering for MNFurs and for other cons as well in other areas. But if anything, MNFurs was the one that I was my go-to.
Congratulations, you have finished the Q&A session. That is it. As I stated at the Q&A, I want to thank all of our candidates for running for board. With the number of seats that are available and the number of candidates that are currently running, unfortunately, not everyone is going to make it to the board. I do want to remind our candidates that even though you don't make it to the board of directors, don't take it personally. It shouldn't be seen as a popularity contest, and that everyone can still make a huge difference, even as a staff member. In the room, somebody even mentioned from the audience that they feel like that a staff member can sometimes, in the right scenarios, make more of an impact than a board member can. So that's
Yep.
all I
I
wanted to
believe you've
say.
said that before as well.
I, I say that every year.
Yeah.
It's don't feel discouraged if you don't make it to the board. Like Curse, for example, has not been on the board. He has in the past, but even as a non-board member, he still makes a huge difference. So
Yeah.
that goes for everybody. So I'm going to stop the recording.